Morning, everyone. Happy June. Happy the last day of June. So we're so happy to see you today to join our educational classes. One of the very informative class, Hurdlr. This is a very informative information to introduce us how to track our order record for our real estate transaction in our daily life. I'm Pauline Lam from Cotai Realty, your 2021 Co-Chair Education Committee. And this meeting is being recorded and will be available on the YouTube channel, West and Gabriel Valley Realtors. And today, we would like to invite our very special member to help me because I'm in will be in an appointment. So Jeff Huang is our education committee member. Will introduce our very special speaker. Jeff, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Pauline. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Huang from eXp Realty. The Education Committee of the West San Gabriel Valley Realtor is happy to host today's topic, Getting Started with Hurdlr. We have Ashleigh Rockwell from Hurdlr who will guide us on this topic. Ashleigh is the head of the customer success at Hurdlr for nearly 4 years. She leads a customer success team helping us realtors get started and support us using Hurdlr. Well, without further ado, let's get started. Ashleigh, am I missing anything? You're on mute.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Awesome. All right, well, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me today. Really excited to walk you through the app and help you get started. So I want to start by giving a little bit of background on the app, and then I will show you how to get started and then how to actually use the app. So I'm going to go ahead and share my computer screen real quick. So Hurdlr helps agents put their finances on autopilot. And what we found is that 90% of agents are commingling their finances, meaning that they have their personal and business expenses in the same accounts, which makes it really hard to keep everything separate. So it makes it difficult to know what their true profit is at the end of the day. Additionally, agents tend to have about $10,000 in business tax deductions each year, about $5,000 in expenses, and then another $5,000 in the mileage deduction, which many don't even claim because they're not actively tracking it. So I invite each of you to think about how you manage your finances. How are you tracking all of your commissions? How are you tracking all of your business expenses? All of your business mileage driving to your different open houses or listings, how you're tracking your self-employed tax that you owe on your real estate income. And then if you have any additional income, such as a rental property or side business, how are you tracking that? And the great thing is that Hurdlr helps you do all of this in one streamlined tool. So we'd like to think of Hurdlr as a Fitbit for agent financial goals because it's going to keep track of everything for you in real time. So you always know exactly how much you're profiting. So the top 3 benefits for agents are that it's going to help save you time and money. So with Hurdlr, agents save about $5,600 and 18 hours per year on their taxes. It helps you always keep up to date on your finances by having the real-time financials with the touch of a button. And it's going to give you financial insight into your business to help improve your profitability. So the first thing Hurdlr is going to help you do is automate your finances. So Hurdlr automatically tracks your mileage, income, and expenses, and it shows you your profit and loss in real time. It's also going to calculate your taxes for you based on the income and deductions that you're tracking. So you can always see exactly how much you owe and make sure that you're capturing all of those deductions to lower your taxes as much as possible. The next thing it's going to help you do is maximize your profitability. So you can actually track all of your income, expenses, and mileage at the listing level, which is going to help you know your true profit per client and make you kind of see where your profit stands and how you can adjust things to make yourself more profitable. Hurdlr's been around for over 6 years, and in that time, we've helped our users track over $8 billion in finances and save over $300 million in taxes. We've also received several different awards and recognitions in the real estate industry. So through the CRMLS dashboard, you can get Hurdlr for a discounted rate. You get 40% off your first year. So you'll see that here. When you click on the Hurdlr button in the CRMLS dashboard, you'll be able to download the app, or if you click on your computer, you'll come through here and you'll get that an offer for 7-day free trial and then 40% off your first year. So currently Hurdlr is $60. So that first year would be $36, but the price is increasing on July 6th to $100. So it would be better to sign up for Hurdlr sooner so you can get that cheaper rate. So you will get the 40% off regardless of when you sign up, but you'll get it for a cheaper price if you sign up before the price change. So when you first sign up, like I said, you'll get the 7-day free trial option, and I'm going to bypass that for now to go in here. And I'll just show you guys what the setup looks like. As I'm going through this, please feel free to chat in any questions that you have, and I'll be sure to get to those at the end. So like I said, you have that option of the 7-day free trial. So I'll just go through that. And the setup actions are going to be listed here at the top. Now I'm going to show you the setup on your computer. You can also set up via the mobile app. You could use your computer, your tablet, your iPad, your phone, all of them interchangeably, and your data will sync up across all the different platforms. So I'll show you the setup on the computer. It's very similar on the mobile app as well. And then we'll jump into the mobile app in a little bit so I can show you a little bit more about managing your account on the mobile app. So the setup actions are really easy and quick. They're all listed at the top here. In the mobile app, they're also listed at the top for you to follow. So really easy to do. The first thing we're going to do is set up our tax calculations. So there's just a few quick questions it's going to ask you so that it can provide the most accurate tax calculation. So I'll ask you your state, what your state filing status is, what your federal filing status is. And then if you have any W-2 income, if you have another job in addition to your real estate business, or if you're married and filing jointly and your spouse has a salary, you can enter that in here to get more accurate tax estimates as far as your tax bracket. I'll say no for now though, so we can skip that. And then we just have a disclaimer letting you know that these are estimates, but our users do find the estimates to be very accurate on what they end up owing at the end of the year. The next setup action here is to enable automated reports. So with this option, you'll get a report automatically emailed to you at the beginning of each month. So we do recommend turning that on, and that way that report just gets messaged to you and you don't have to worry about going in and pulling it yourself, which I will show you how to do later on. The next action for setup is to pick your income and expense tracking methods. So with Hurdlr, you have the option to manually enter in your income expenses, but most of our users like to automatically track them, the transactions in automatically. Now this is very secure to do. So what you're doing is you're going to come to this list. We support nearly 10,000 banks and credit cards. Some of the most popular ones are listed here, and you can also search for any additional ones by tapping on the search button and searching for your bank. And when you click on your bank, it's going to have you log directly into your bank, which then gives Hurdlr read-only access to your banking transactions. So we don't see or store your credentials or your account numbers or anything like that. We are just securely seeing your transactions. So it would take you to log in, you would log into the account and sync it up, and then those transactions will start pulling in right away. So it is very secure to do. Oops, and I just closed out of that accidentally. Sorry about that. I think I forgot that password is. Sorry about that. But that was the last setup action. So the last thing is just linking your bank account or credit card, and that's going to start pulling in those transactions right away. So I'm going to share my screen for the mobile app. We can actually walk through the mobile app in a little bit more detail to see what it looks like once you've already started tracking your data. Okay, so this is the mobile app here. Across the top is where those action items are going to be to set up your account. So since this account is already set up, it's going to have any other pending actions I need to take. So as the income, expenses, and mileage accumulates, it's going to have me tag that. It's also going to give me a quick snapshot of my income, expenses, and taxes that I've tracked so far. So the taxes are calculated based on the income and deductions that I've tracked as business. It's also going to show you your profit after tax, which is this number in white at the top. And that's how much you're actually keeping in your pocket at the end of the day, once you account for your expenses and your taxes. Across the bottom are our different dashboards. So the first one is the mileage tracker. And this is the only additional setup action that you would take if you're setting up your account on your phone, and that would be to set up your mileage tracking. So with Hurdlr, there's a couple different options for tracking your mileage. The first is auto tracking, which most agents tend to use. So with this option, you turn the auto tracker on, which it already is, and it's going to track all of your trips automatically as you drive. So all the trips that you track are pulled in here, and then you just swipe to tag them as business or swipe the other way to tag them as personal. So that's what most agents like to use because it's all kind of automated and make sure that you don't miss out on any trips. And as you're tagging your transactions or your trips as business and tagging them to your real estate business, it will also prompt you to choose one of your listings or buyers that you have set up. So like I talked about earlier, you're going to be able to track that mileage at the listing level and see how much mileage you're driving per listing or buyer. The other cool thing with automatic tracking is that there's some advanced features that you can use. So the first is mileage rules and favorite locations. So there's a little blue star next to each location. If I tap on that, I can name it and then set up a rule associated with it. So if I set up a rule for my listing that it's always a business drive, moving forward, it's going to tag those drives as business automatically for me. We also learn the tagging behavior as you tag your drives. So there's this 2 suggested rules bar, and that's AI learning how you're tagging those trips so that moving forward, Hurdlr can automatically do that for you. So if I tap on this, it's going to show a few different rules based on what I've tracked and tagged so far. And if I approve any of those rules moving forward, if I take any of those trips that fit the rule, it's going to automatically tag it according to the rule I've set. So it's just a big time saver by kind of automating that more for you. So you're spending less time going through each individual drive. The other cool thing with auto tracking is that we have bulk tagging. So if I tap the little orange icon in the bottom right-hand corner, I can select all or multi-select my mileage to tag it as business or personal. So a lot of people like to spend time, each week or each month going through and sorting the data that needs to be tagged. So this is a quick way to get caught up on that. Now, the second method for tracking your mileage is called semi-automatic tracking. So to access this, you would first turn off the automatic tracker, and this is going to change the little orange button in the bottom right-hand corner to an arrow. And if I tap on that, it's going to show a button to start the tracker. So I'd come in when I start driving for business and start the tracker. And then once I stop driving, I'd come back and stop it. So that's another option for you tracking your mileage. When you stop the tracker, it's going to automatically tag that trip as business. So it's going to be listed in this reviewed section here, which is going to be a list of all of the trips that you've already tagged. Now, like I said, most agents do like to automatically track their mileage, but that is the other option for tracking your mileage. The last thing as far as mileage tracking is manually entering mileage. So if you tap the plus sign in the top right-hand corner here, that's going to allow you to manually enter your trips. So this is great if you've been using another platform to track your mileage before using Hurdlr, or if you weren't tracking your mileage anywhere, just to be able to go in and enter it in so that all of your deductions are accounted for in your tax calculations in Hurdlr. Now, the next section here along the bottom is the expenses section. So like I showed when we were doing the setup, you're able to link a bank or credit card to automatically pull in all of your expenses. So here are all of my expenses that need to be tagged. And I would just swipe to tag them as business or swipe the other way to tag as personal. And as I tag those transactions as business, again, I am able to tag them to my real estate business and to a specific listing. So I can keep track of all of the expenses that I'm accumulating for that particular listing. Similar to mileage, Hurdlr also uses AI to help you automate your expense tracking. So the little blue bar here that says suggested rules, if I tap on that, I can see some of the rules that are being suggested based on the data that I've tracked and tagged so far. And if I approve any of those rules, moving forward, it's going to automatically tag any of the transactions that pull in from my bank or credit card that match the rule. So again, just a big time saver. And there is also that speed tagging option that I mentioned with mileage for expenses as well. So you're able to go in and bulk tag your expenses as needed. The other option with expenses is to manually enter your expenses. So you can do that by tapping the plus sign in the top right-hand corner and clicking to add an expense, and then manually entering in the details about the expense, such as the amount and the vendor. You can also attach receipts to any expense that you have, whether it be an expense that you're manually entering or one that pulls in from your bank or credit card. So if I tap the attach receipt button, I can take a photo of my receipt or choose one from my files or photos to add to the app. You're also able to email receipts directly to Hurdlr and link those to your expenses as well. The next dashboard here along the bottom is our income dashboard. So we're able to link that bank account like we did with the expenses and have those income transactions pull in automatically. And as we're going through and tagging those as business, we're able to tag them to the listings as well. So again, it's going to show us a true P&L for each listing. The next section here along the bottom is our taxes section. So this is where you're going to be able to see a lot of details about the taxes that are being calculated. Hurdlr is going to calculate your federal, state, and self-employed taxes in real time. And if you tap the details button here, you can actually see the detailed calculations. So you can see exactly how those deductible expenses and deductible mileage are working to lower your taxable net income, which then in turn lowers your taxes. And you can see exactly then how your federal, state, and self-employment taxes are being calculated. The other cool thing is that you can see a quarterly breakdown of your Hurdlr taxes as well, which can help you with your estimated quarterly payments if you make those. So if I tap quarterly and then select a particular quarter, I'm able to see the state and the federal and self-employed taxes that I should be making as my tax payment. And if I do make those tax payments throughout the year, I can track those as well. So if I tap on this payment button, I'm able to track any of the tax payments I make, whether they be federal or state. And it's going to update what I've paid versus what I still owe in real time. So I can know how much I need to keep set aside for my future tax payments. If I tap the three dots in the top left-hand corner here, this is going to open our settings menu, which has a few additional options. So the first is our reports. So we have a ton of different reports you can choose from. The most popular ones are listed at the top. And then there's all sorts of mileage, expense, and income reports. And then for tax time, there's two main tax reports. So there's a Schedule C. So if you file a Schedule C, it's going to be a drafted Schedule C with the data from Hurdlr filled in. Or we have this tax details for tax filing report, which is a spreadsheet of the data you've tracked. So it's going to have a summary on the first page, and then it's going to have a tab for all of your business drives, all of your business expenses, and all of your business income. And that's the perfect document to use for your tax filing, whether you file on your own or if you have an accountant or a CPA. It's going to have all of those details for actual tax filing. Now, if I go back to the settings menu, the next section here is listings and buyers, which is a really useful tool for real estate agents. It's going to show you that real-time profit and loss per listing or buyer. So at the top, you can select if you want to look at your listings or your buyers. And there's two ways to track these. The first is auto tracking. So if you have Lone Wolf Plus, Lone Wolf Zip Form Plus or Transaction Desk, you can actually link that. And that's going to pull in all of your listings and buyers automatically. If you don't use those platforms, then you can manually enter in your listings and buyers by tapping the plus sign in the top right-hand corner and entering in a few quick details. Now, if I tap on one of the listings or buyers, it's going to show me the estimated commission based on the listing price or budget for the buyers, as well as the estimated commission will be based on the percentage that I set as my commission compared to what the listing price or buyer budget is. And then it's going to show me a summary of the time, expenses, and mileage that I've tracked and attributed to this particular listing or buyer. So it's going to show that little orange bar there is showing the money I've put into this versus what I expect to get out of it. You can even see a detailed list of your expenses that you've tagged this particular listing and go through and see those. I'm going to show you this in just a minute, but you can also track your time in Hurdlr. So some agents really like to do this and keep track of the different time they're spending on things for each client. So you'd be able to see a summary here of any tasks that you've tagged to that particular client as well. And if I go back to the settings menu, the time and tasks is the next feature here. So like I said, some agents love to use this, but it's not something that you need to use. This is a great feature to keep track of, house visits, staging, administrative tasks, or different things that you're doing and want to keep track of the time you're spending on it. There's two main ways to track your time. The first is to manually enter it by tapping the plus sign in the top right-hand corner. You just enter in the duration that you spent on it and choose your task. There's a bunch of different default ones you can choose from, or you can enter your own custom task. And when you add your task and tag it, you're able to tag it to a particular client as well. So if I'm tagging to my real estate business, I can then select one of my listings, just like I could when I was tagging my income, expenses, or mileage. The other option for tracking your time is this little clock icon here. So this is where you can come in and just start the tracker when you start that particular task and come back and stop it once you're done. It's going to calculate the time that you spent on that task. Now there's a couple other customization features that you can take advantage of. The first is that you can track multiple businesses in Hurdlr. So if I tap on businesses in the settings menu, it's going to allow me to track multiple businesses. For this case, I have both a real estate business and a rental property set up. So each time I was tracking something as business, it was asking me which of my two businesses it was associated with. And I can add additional businesses as well and enter in those particular details. Now, if you have another business besides a real estate business, you're going to have this client section. So with this, you're able to track your clients. So for my rental property business, I'm able to track those clients, and just like how I was tagging my listings and buyers to my mileage, income, expenses, I'm able to tag my clients. So that's another way to be able to track those types of details for businesses that are not real estate businesses. The other thing I can do is customize my business expense categories. So Hurdlr has a ton of different default business expense categories, and you can see them under all the different headings. But if I need to add my own, I can tap the plus sign in the top right-hand corner and enter in the category name, the heading I want it to fall under, and then the tax category that it should be mapping to. So it's really going to let you kind of customize what you want to track as far as your expenses. Now, the last thing I want to highlight here before I jump into questions is that we also offer live in-app chat support. So there's a little chat bubble in the top left-hand corner. And if you tap on that, you can chat with our team. We offer live support from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. So during those times, we're typically able to answer in just a few minutes. And if you message us outside of those times, we'll respond as soon as we return to the office the next day. So that's a quick overview of the app. What questions do you have?
Hi, Ashley. Thank you for that presentation. It was pretty amazing. I have a handful of questions. We do welcome more questions from the audience. Feel free to type it in for Ashley. And so I'll just get started. I'm sure you collect a lot of big data and how customers are using your app. What are, say, the top 3 features being used?
I'd say probably the mileage tracking is one of the biggest. I think the automatic mileage tracker is really invaluable. There's so many people who aren't tracking their mileage, and it's such a big deduction. So I think that's probably one of the biggest ones. I think for agents, the listings and buyers section is a big pull. We recently added the integration with Lone Wolf, so with Transaction Desk and ZipForm Plus. So being able to automatically pull those in if you're using those platforms is great. And even if you're not, just being able to track everything at the listing level and see exactly what your expenses and mileage are per listing, so you can see that real-time P&L is really useful. And then I think the other biggest thing is just the reporting at the end of the year. That tax report that I mentioned is really invaluable. It's going to give you all the information that you need to submit your self-employed tax filing. So it's going to have the income, expenses, and mileage, and it's already going to be pre-formatted for those tax forms.
Very good. And so I haven't used the listing. I definitely use the mileage tracking feature, and it's amazing. Now, for the listing feature, I use a program called SkySlope. Is there plans in the future to integrate other apps as well that tracks transactions?
Yeah, there's nothing currently in the pipeline, but we're always exploring additional options like that. Lone Wolf kind of approached us about a partnership to help promote it to agents as well. So that's how that kind of got started. But I think in the future, we'd love to be able to support other platforms as well, because I know it's so helpful to have that automatic tracking of pulling those listings and buyers in.
Yeah. And then the reporting is, I haven't seen it yet because I just started using Hurdlr for the last 2 to 3 months, but I am kind of curious. How would you describe the reporting? Is it a report where I just give my CPA, or is it a report that integrates well? I think there's another app that's TurboTax. Like, do I just say, oh, go look at my Hurdlr and then just pull the information or integrate my information into, like, say, TurboTax? Are there things like that or coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, so right now the tax report is a spreadsheet report that's going to have that summary of everything. So we don't currently have a report that's available in the tax file. I forget, I think it's like TXT or something like that, that can be imported into tax filing platforms. We do, however, have an integration with one tax filing partner. It's called Ashleigh. So if you want to use that, you're able to actually import your Hurdlr information directly into their platform during tax time. So during tax time, there's a little file taxes button on the tax page, and that lets you import that data in there. That's just one option though. If you have a CPA, you're able to give them that report that I mentioned. I think that report really has all the details they need. It even includes the links to any receipts that you've uploaded. So if they have a question about a certain expense, they'd be able to just go look directly at the receipt. So I think it really does have, a good summary of what those categories are, because everything you're tracking in Hurdlr maps to a specific tax category. So Hurdlr's going to show the summary of what those tax category totals are, as well as the individual expenses.
Very good, Ashleigh. Thank you.
Yeah.
The question is from Mendy Ye. I'm actually going to expand and make it a two-part question. Is all the information we put on there private? Is it going to be shared with anybody else? Because security and private information is a big thing for us, because we take care of a lot of our clients, and their information is also very important to us too. So is that information recorded? Is it kept? And then if we decide to say, can you please give it back, let us have all that information, our personal information that we put in there, how does that work?
Yeah, so Hurdlr does not sell any data. It's all private for your own use. If you ever need help and we need to access your account from our end, we would always ask for permission, get your permission before doing that. So it really is your data. We're not doing anything to it from our end. And you can certainly delete your account anytime. So if you decide that you don't want to use Hurdlr, don't want your data on Hurdlr, you'd be able to delete your account, and all of your data would be permanently deleted from our servers.
Okay. Thank you, Ashleigh. The next question is from Mr. Lee, and it's a little bit similar in terms of the reporting, but more like the usage of it. Can we, let's see, can it be downloaded in a specific format, like the popular format, such as Excel, or and then we can then have that information, and is it in like a print format?
Yeah, definitely. So we have tons of different reports to choose from. A lot of them are PDF. So there's different ways you can view the data, for expenses, for example, we have by expense category, by business, if you have multiple businesses. And then we also have a spreadsheet report that's available for each different section. So there's one for mileage that's going to have very detailed mileage list, one for income, and one for expenses. And then we also have that spreadsheet report that is the tax details report. So there are reports available in both PDF and spreadsheet. So you can use, Excel, Google Sheets, any type of spreadsheet program for those.
Okay. So the next question is like, if you averaged out all your power users, the customers that basically paid into using your services, what would you say their average cost saving is? Like, you help them identify to say, oh, these are all the tax deductions that you could potentially get. What would be that dollar amount average?
Yeah, so on average, our users save $5,600 per year on their taxes.
Okay, that's an impressive metric.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, and then I think you've already mentioned this, but I gotta ask, because I know a lot of my fellow realtors are we like a good discount or a good price when we can get it. So how does and then we're also curious, like, since Hurdlr, is it sponsored by CRMLS, or is it, and then what's the discount? Like, is there the Black Friday? Should we wait for Black Friday to get it, or is there any other discounts that we can try to get?
Yeah. So it is through CRMLS. We've partnered with them to offer 40% off the first year. So Hurdlr's old pricing was $60 per year, and we've actually kept that a little bit longer for CRMLS. So we're keeping that pricing through July 6th. So if agents sign up before July 6th, they would get that old pricing of $60. So 40% off of 60 is only $36. If they sign up after that point, it's going to be 40% off $100. So it'd be $60 for their first year. So it'd be really great to sign up before July 6th, just so that you can get the lower price before it increases. There isn't typically an annual increase though. And once you have the subscription, it will continue at that same rate. So if you were to sign up at the $60 per year rate and get the 40% off your first year, so it's $36, when it renews next year, it'll be $60 and it will stay at $60 because you have that rate locked in. So the price, once you've subscribed, and you continue subscribing, it's not going to go up from what you have. Even if the price of Hurdlr goes up for new users, your price would not change. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, well, I think you've answered our 20 questions. so thank you so much. If there's none, let's go ahead and start wrapping it up. Anything else, Ashleigh, before I close this out?
No, thank you again so much for having me. I think the only last thing I want to mention is make sure if you have any other questions to use that in-app chat feature. We're always happy to help answer questions.
Okay, thank you, Ashleigh. On behalf of the West San Gabriel Valley Realtors, we would like to thank Ashleigh of Hurdlr for her informative information. A quick reminder, tomorrow at 9 a.m., to invite all of you to join our MLS breakfast meeting to celebrate the 4th of July, presented by your Special Events Committee. As for July 13th, Tuesday at 12 noon, we're going to be having a commercial seminar by the topic will be Capital Gain by Isaac Kim. Thank you for joining today's class. See you on July 13th or tomorrow at noon. Happy summer. Thank you, everyone.